Okay. Once again, thank you everyone for joining. Okay, I am Ravi. I have 8+ years of experience in embedded and IoT technologies. Presently, I am working as a senior IoT project consultant. Okay, and these are my expertise. I worked on the uh, various cloud technologies, cloud and embedded devices, sensors, gateways, and also I have a hands-on session on the various cloud platforms, including AWS, Azure, and also uh, the dedicated IoT cloud platforms like Thingsboard, Adafruit. Okay, and also I worked on the wireless technologies like Wi-Fi, NB-IoT, LoRa, Bluetooth, and BLE, and I also worked on the projects for creating the skills for Alexa and Google Assistant for home automation and building the custom skills. Also, when it comes to the training perspective, I used to work on this Arduino and Raspberry Pi with embedded platforms. I'm basically from electronics and communication background and a master's in digital communication. And when it comes to the training part, I taught around 1,000+ students across the globe, and I used to teach Internet of Things and embedded technologies. Okay, this is my introduction. Let's getting into the introduction to IoT. Before that, I will just quickly glance through like what are the syllabus we are going to carry out for 8 sessions. Okay. I hope you can see my screen. Okay, this is the syllabus. First, I will getting into the introduction to IoT, and before that, for prerequisites. Okay, these are the prerequisites and outcomes for the course. And even if you don't have the programming background, the programming knowledge background, that is fine. Anyhow, we'll be covering as a part of the basic aspects of programming here. And yeah, one minute. Yeah. First, the first session, no need to download anything. I will just with the end of this today's session, I will give the access to all the shared drive links so that you are able to see all the files and you can start accessing those files. I'll be giving access to all 8 session files folders with the drive link. Okay, and you can just go through that. For first session, no need to worry about that. And also, if you're posting anything, just post it to everyone. Don't post it privately. I request everyone to post it to everyone so that others can also understand like what the concern you have and the question you posted in the chat window. Okay, I will give the links or documents which is related to each and every sessions by today end of the session. Okay. Okay, the prerequisites, just you should be aware of like the basic programming language. Even if you don't have also, we are going to cover as a part of training. And with the outcomes, we are going to learn about the basic things about the Internet of Things and its applications and the business outcomes, and also IoT components, devices, hardware and software requirements. And also we are going to learn something like what is Internet of Things, means how it relates to the cloud computing concepts. And also we are going to learn about the basic usage of Arduino environment for creating embedded projects at low cost. And also like how open platforms allows you to store your sensor data in the cloud. Like we are going to use throughout the course, I'm going to take you to the 2 cloud platforms. One is dedicated IoT cloud platform, which is called as Adafruit.io, And the next one is AWS Cloud, AWS Amazon Web Services. Okay, I'm going to walk through two cloud platforms for 8 sessions. And along with, I'm going to take you to the 3 IoT development boards. The purpose of going with this is from getting from basic concepts to the advanced here, just to understand like why we are going to use these kind of boards and where and all it's going to be helpful. And based on the customer requirements and based on the business requirements, what are the devices and sensors we are going to choose. Okay, that is the agenda. And also once you just come up with these 8 sessions, you are able to build the project on your own. Like even I'm going to include some demo project which includes home automation, Google Assistant based home automation, like with voice command, something like, hey Google, turn on the light. Okay, we are going to demonstrate this with the live videos. And also most of the sessions, I think 80% of the sessions will be covered as a hands-on demo, like live demo sessions. I'm going to walk through the live demo sessions, and I'm going to show like how to connect the sensors and how to interface these devices and how to do the programming. Okay, all these things I'm going to cover as a part of live sessions. Okay, first, I'm going to start with the introduction to IoT and also how IoT applied in the different domains. As I said, IoT is not restricted to one domain. IoT is going to apply to all the domains like agricultural, environmental monitoring, home automation, industrial automation. It's distributed to all the domains. Wherever you see like there is any business cases, we can go and implement the Internet of Things technology. Like I'm going to walk through like what are the different domains, what are the where and all we can apply this technology, and followed by the use cases ranging from smart cities to industrial Internet of Things. Okay, and how large is the IoT market in the different domains. And I'm going to walk through the layer architecture of IoT with some wireless and networking technologies. And later on I will getting into the IoT device design and management. Why? Because if you want to start with any of the use cases needs to be implemented with Internet of Things, we should understand the basic device platform here. Like IoT is all about the device, network and applications, where application may be a cloud platform, I can say. Hence we should understand about the basic 3 layers here. That's why I will getting into the IoT device and management, where we are going to learn about the device platforms and sensors and peripherals which can be used for implementing the uh, real-time problems with respect to the IoT technology. And I'm going to introduce like IoT hardware platform and comparison criteria for selecting the hardware platform, and also design considerations. This is very important, like how we can choose the devices and go with the design which comes with the cost, performance, scalability and power consumption trade-offs. Okay, this is about the introduction, and later on I will getting into the hands-on session. Only for today's session we are going to cover the for 2 hours we are going to cover with the theoretical aspects, but from tomorrow onwards we are going to start with the hands-on actually, so that we can easily understand from basics to the advanced level of connecting the devices to the cloud and understanding each and every layer of layer architecture of IoT. Like from this, I'm going to start with the hands-on session, where I'm going to getting into the Arduino platform. Arduino is an open source hardware and software platform which provides for doing the prototyping of the any of the projects with respect to the embedded or IoT. I will just walk through this Arduino platform and later on I will getting into the connecting the devices and sensors for writing a small code footprint, and which can be used for collecting the sensor data and understanding the sensor behavior and understanding how we can just read the sensor data and do the pre-processing on the devices like microcontrollers. Okay, I will do all this, the hands-on sessions by covering all the sensors and devices and the microcontroller boards. And later on, I will just walk through the communication technologies. This is very important when it comes to the communication between the device and the cloud. The networking is very important here. That is, it provides the channel between the device layer to the cloud layer with the different wireless communication technologies. It may be a Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, Zigbee, GPRS. Okay, any communication technologies can be used for communication between the device to the cloud. Okay, we'll see like the comparisons and followed by some protocols here, data communication protocols like MQTT, HTTP, and all. And later on, I will go walk through some introduction to MQTT. This is very important. Why? Because this is designed for the Internet of Things, MQTT protocol, message giving telemetry transport. And later, I will just walk through into the Internet of Things. As I said, we'll be having a dedicated IoT cloud platform. I will explain what are the different components and the device management, data visualization, okay, and APIs. All this will be covered in the introduction to cloud platform. And also we'll start hands-on with the live demo sessions with the cloud platform by integrating the devices to the cloud, so that remotely you can see what the data which is collected from the device layer. And later on, I will just walk through some project which is related to the home automation, like how we can just control the lights or fans or things with the IoT based home automation. Like I'm going to use cloud platform along with the voice based assistants like Google Home Assistants, which can be used for controlling the things here. So that with this you'll be having all the source codes, so that if you have some devices and some components, you can implement the same thing in your home, like doing home automation stuff. I'll be providing the full document for implementing this, so that whoever all interested, they can even go and try this project. Okay, this is about up to till I'm going to cover which is related to the microcontroller. Next, I'm going to jump into the Raspberry Pi. I think why we are going to get into this Raspberry Pi device. The Raspberry Pi is it's a credit card size computer actually. It's actually a processor. Whatever I'm going to teach till now is it's a controller, microcontrollers, and with the Raspberry Pi I'm going to teach about the processor, how I can play with the processor devices, and why we are going to use this Raspberry Pi. Yeah, there is importance when it comes to the IoT applications to go with the Raspberry Pi. I will explain in detail about that. And also I will start with interfacing the Raspberry Pi with the Python programming technology, like how I can just use Raspberry Pi with Python program to collect the sensor data and connect with the cloud. Okay. And later on, I will start with the introduction to AWS IoT. Here we are going to understand the basic understanding about how this cloud platform works. Why the intention of going with the two cloud platform is just to differentiate, to understand about the concepts here. And throughout the sessions, one request from my side is try to go understand the concepts here instead of going with the procedures. Why? Because if you understand the technology, if you understand the concepts here, you can go and implement, or you can start working on any of the cloud platform. It may be a AWS, it may be Azure, or it may be a third party cloud platforms. The only one request is if you go layer by layer in understanding the concepts, then it'll be better way of understanding each and every services and technologies, and also you can start doing on your own. This is one thing. And also who are interested to do the hands-on session, even will be you can go and do with the hands-on session also. And after by end of this session, I'm going to provide all the links, so that you'll be having all the information about the documents which is related to each and every sessions. Okay, you can see here I have just created, like there are 8 sessions here. There are 8 sessions. Each session comes with some reference document along with some folder which is related to the hands-on. You can see for every session, if there is any hands-on session is involved, then I'm going to put the hands-on folder, which comes with the basic programming and supported libraries. Okay, everything I just mentioned in this folder. And followed by the reference document. The reference document, if you go here, it comes with all the reference documents which is related to the IoT. In the first session, I just mentioned about introduction to IoT and IoT use cases, and IoT ebook, which can be used to understand the Internet of Things technology. And followed by, if you are interested to go with a hands-on session, even I just mentioned what are the components is required. Okay, you can see here, I just mentioned about, yeah, okay, these are the components, and even I just mentioned about Amazon link also. So that if you are interested, you can even go and buy these things just for your information. Hands-on session is not mandatory. It's just for your information. I'm just sharing this. Once you'll be getting these links, you'll be accessing to all these folders, and so that you can start download these files, and you can start working on this. Yeah, that's about the syllabus. If you have any questions or concerns, please let me know, so that I'm going to start with the introduction to Internet of Things. Do you have any questions? Okay, I consider no questions for now. Okay, I will just get started with the Internet of Things. Okay. Okay, what is Internet of Things? Okay, actually can see like from last 2 to 3 years, we are hearing some other buzzwords like IoT, ML, artificial intelligence. Okay, what else? Uh, Blockchain. Okay, these are all buzzwords. We are already like from last 2 to 3 years, people are more interested into getting in these topics, and also IoT is one of the technology. You can say like it's creating a huge impact in coming years. What actually the technology says, if you just imagine like from 6 to 7 years back, we haven't even thought like the mobile technologies is going to be emerging in such a manner like what we are seeing in the present time, like in the 2020. There are like almost 8 billion mobile phones which is already generating enormous amount of data. We haven't even thought like the mobile industry is growing like anything. And also we haven't even thought like the e-commerce websites is comes with the market shares with the mobile technology. If you go with Amazon, Uber, Netflix, okay, these are all already generating a huge revenue with respect to the mobile technologies and the smart technologies, I can say. And we can see like we are already generating the enormous amount of data with the 8 billion mobile phones, 8 plus billion mobile phones. What if there is a devices which can collect and share the data around us? What I mean to say is the prediction says there is a 50 billion devices is going to be connected to the cloud in the future. And how we are going to manage this data? And what are the insights we can gather from the data which is generated from the 50 billion devices? The one example I can give is the Rolls-Royce. It's a famous manufacturer for the jet engines and the airplanes. And they started working on this technology, and they reduced only 1% of the fuel consumption, and which reflects to $250,000 savings per plane per year. What I mean to say is they reduce only 1% of the fuel consumption by making use of this technology and connecting some sensors and devices here and gathering some enough amount of data. And with that data, they're just reduced only 1% of the fuel consumption. And the reflection is the savings is huge here. They can reduce by reducing only 1% of fuel consumption. They can reduce almost $250,000 per plane per year. And what I mean to say, like it's all about connecting the. There is a huge forbidden between. As I said, like still we are getting the smart things with the mobile phones, but still there is a forbidden between the physical and the digital world. I can say, like the things around us is not talking to each other. The devices around us, for example, if you go to your home and the things like your refrigerators and the washing machines and the smart things, winding machines, they're not talking to each other. Like once you left from the office and your car should talk to your home. Something like Jesse is left home and just keep it ready, something on the home side. Things are not happening. Like your car should talk to your home and your car should talk to your refrigerators. And who else in the future your refrigerator is going to ask your permission, something is not available, the groceries. Just with a one click, it is going to be ordered automatically to the grocery stores and it's going to be delivered. No need to worry about like whether things are there in the refrigerators. The refrigerator will take care of all those things. What I mean to say is just connect unconnected. Internet of Things is nothing but just connect unconnected things. The prediction says it's a 50 billion devices is going to be connected to the cloud. What I mean to say is the Internet of Things is going to become a key to the digital transformation. You can see like what actually it says is, the survey says is 73% of the companies surveyed are currently active in the IoT. And 60% of the are working on IoT and aiming to grow the revenue and the profits. And 50% are reduction in the downtime with the predictive maintenance. But because people are working hard in terms of delivering the solutions and working with the new business cases and understanding the business problems. And with this technology, they can make it as like the new way of giving the services to the customers. Like we haven't even thought, like whenever I'm just working with some projects and there is a requirement where we need to monitor the wells, water wells. I'm working with some US projects. It's a monitoring the water wells. But traditional way of collecting the water samples is something like they have to send a person to collect the water samples and they have to give it to the laboratory for testing. And this has to happen every once in a month. And there are like 1,000 or 2,000 wells are available around North America, in the different areas of North America. The main problem what they're facing is the resource cost. That is the one thing, and also the time consuming. It's a time consuming. Why? Because they have to collect the water samples and they have to give it to the laboratory. and also it takes the more time to get the results. And we come up with a prototyping by just deploying some IoT sensors and the gateway devices which capable of collecting the samples and connecting to the cloud in a real-time basis. So that all the data which is collected from the water wells, which is located in the different location, is going to be pushed to the cloud, so that in the cloud platform, I can see all the data with a different location in one dashboard. So that based on that, you can take the decisions there. One minute, I will be on mute, 1 minute. Okay, I'm back. Thank you. As I said, like what I meant to say is this technology is a key to the digital transformation. It's all about connecting the physical and the digital world. As I said, it's a huge forbidden between the things which around us and the digital world. So that IoT makes the things to talk each other. It maybe comes under M2M communication, or it may be something like IoT, Internet of Things. Like each and everything is going to be connected to each other, and they're going to get enormous amount of data, and with that also they're going to get an insights from the each and every devices which is connected. And also the companies are doing a lot of surveying, like what kind of new business cases we can just generate with this technology, like just understanding the behavior of the use cases, understanding the behavior of the current business problems. Like we got again one requirement, something like a big machine, the production of the machine is 100 to 200 units per minute, which means that there is a production machine, a manufacturing unit machine, like the outcomes is 100 to 200 units per minute. The one question is, what if the machine goes down for 5 to 6 hours as a downtime? It's a huge loss for the manufacturing unit. It's a huge loss for the company. And we come up with some solution, like we are just connected we just deployed the IoT solution on the device side. That is a manufacturing unit where we are going to collect the enough information about the machine failure, like when the machine is getting failure, by doing something like predictive maintenance and predictive analytics. So that based on the parameters which is collected from the machine, so that we can easily predict and we can easily control the machine, and we can easily avoid the failure of the machine. So that every data which is collected in a real-time fashion, so that we can have some the logics or triggers, I can say, on the cloud side, so that once it reaches the threshold, then we'll be getting an alert messages like machine parameters is reaching out of the threshold, let's just go and take care of the machine, something like that, so that we can avoid the failure of the machine in that use cases. We can see, like 10 years back, as I said, there are many things around us, like printers, or the vehicles, or a computer, coffee maker, winding machines, security cameras. But if you see these things, each and every things are worked as a verticals, which means that each and every devices, they have their own functionalities. But what if I'm interested to talk to all these devices to each other. Something like the refrigerator wants to talk with the vending machine. The coffee maker wants to talk with your mobile phone. Your microwave should talk to your refrigerators. Something like I am interested in to talk to each other so that they can get better insights. Best example is if you just see like water heater. If you just imagine, if you forgot to switch off the water heater and you just went to office and the water heater is on for 5 to 6 hours. I'm talking about only one water heater here, but if you just consider in a large way, like it's a metropolitan cities where like lakhs of water heaters are running, and in that some 10 to 20,000 of water heater is on for 5 to 6 hours. Just imagine what is the power dissipation. I'm just telling the use cases, like where and all we can apply the Internet of Things. Still, I'm not getting into the definition of IoT. I'm just making use to compare and understand the technology in our daily use cases, what we are around us. As I said, you can see all these things around us, but these things are not smart enough. These things are not smart enough in terms of like they're not connected to each other. What I mean to say is IoT is all about connect unconnected things. You see in the next slide, there are hundreds of devices which is already available in the market. And these devices can deliver enormous amount of data and also insights which can be gathered from each and every devices. Like best example is your mobile phone acts like IoT gateway. Many cloud providers or IoT service providers, they are working with mobile technologies, and they're going to provide some mobile services so that it can make your mobile phone as a gateway here. I can say like your mobile phone is an IoT device. It has a multiple technologies. It has a multiple communication technologies. It has a that processing power to handle the IoT use cases. The best example is I can see there is a beacons and proximity. Sorry, there is a beacons and proximity. These are the devices. Beacons means it's a kind of tag devices which can be used for tracking and monitoring purpose. I think I think some airports, they have already implemented this indoor navigation system using these beacons, Bluetooth low energy devices. I think most of the mobile phones, the current generation mobile phones, which has a built-in BLE enabled technology like Bluetooth 5.1. The advantages of this technology is with legacy technologies like Bluetooth below 4 version, where you can just pair only one device at a time. But with BLE 5.1, we can just connect multiple devices at a time. Hence, what I mean to say is these beacon devices which can be helpful for indoor navigation, and also even for smart connected retail stores. I think also I have got one requirement for connected retail stores for car showrooms. It's a UK based project, and where we need to track the customers whenever the customer is visiting to the retail store, that is a car showroom. I just want to understand the customer requirements, and I just want to track whether the customer is the new customer or a existing customer, and also I need to check what the customer needs, whether he has visited in the previous visit, whether he has visited for the inquiring the cars, or whether he's visited for checking for the service, whatever it may be. All the information is going to be gathered and stored in the cloud services, so that with that information they can easily track and they can give the service to the customer here. Again, the main collection device here is the mobile phones. Okay, whenever the customer is entering into that, and they are going to capture the information through mobile phones. Okay, and you can see there are a lot of smart devices and which are available, which can be used for delivering the enormous amount of use cases in the different IoT domains. You can see there are some health monitoring devices are available, smart lighting, that for home automation, and fit bands like which can be used for collecting the body temperature and pulse oximetry. Okay, there is some fit bands are available, health bands which can be used for collecting and monitoring remotely. You can just send all your information to the concerned doctors, so that they can remotely they can give the health tips. Okay, like you can see home automation devices, leak detections. This is also very important, like even for water distribution and monitoring, we can make use of the sensors which can detect the leakages, water leakages. So that we can avoid the unnecessary of cooling the water. And information capturing smart vending machines, office equipment, food and nutrition trackings. Yeah, there are many devices which can be used for tracking and monitoring purpose. And let's getting into the definition of Internet of Things. Okay, what actually it says, you can see there are three scenarios here: Internet of content, Internet of people, and Internet of things. Like whenever we see like in the 90s or 2000, where you can see like people are working with the Internet of content here, just for they're using internet just to share the information, like sending a mail and sending a fax messages, something like that. But later we'll see like the social networking has come into picture, like Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram. People have started connecting to each other. They started communicating to each other. And now with the Internet of Things, each and everything is capable of generating the data. And what actually it says is it's all about connecting the information, people, and things. Every animated and inanimated object on the earth will soon be generating the data, including our homes, our cars, as even our bodies also. As I said, it's all about connecting the physical and the digital world here. And it's a network of physical objects which contain embedded technology which can collect and share the data internally and external environment. This is a technical definition. What actually it says, as I said, IoT is all about three layers: device, network, and application. It is nothing but cloud layer. It's all about a network of physical objects that contain embedded technology. Like when it comes to the embedded technology, we are going to deal with the device layer. It's contain embedded technology to communicate with the interact with their internal state or external environment. External environment means again it's a cloud platform. It's all about collecting the data from the embedded devices or sensors. And with the networking, I can share the data with different communication technologies like Wi-Fi or a Bluetooth or a Zigbee kind of thing, so that I can share the data to the cloud. Okay. Yes, some success story on Internet of Things. As I said, like these are the different manufacturing companies and service providers. They're already working on this technology, and they're delivering the enormous amount of output from this Internet of Things. As I said, you can see Rolls-Royce, the cutting fuel usage by 1% could save $250,000. Okay, and even the Rockwell automation improves the access to the production and supply chain data worldwide, reducing the downtime cost by 3 lakhs dollars per day. And even if you go with the ThyssenKrupp is a manufacturer for the elevators, and they gathers the data from the sensors and the systems to create the valuable business intelligence with the reduction in downtime cost by up to 50%. Like what I mean to say is people are already working on this technology, and they're delivering enormous amount of insights, and they're going to solve the business problems here. Even Johnson Controls chillers now run 9 times faster than unconnected equipment. You can see like chillers now they're running 9 times faster than unconnected equipments, avoiding more than 3 lakhs dollars hourly downtime cost. Okay. Do you have any questions till now? Is it fine with that? I will just move forward. Feel free to ask the questions. Please post it in the chat window. Okay, thank you. We can see like what are the things we can connect here. Anything can be connected to the cloud. Each and every devices which is capable of collecting and generating the data, which can even connect to the cloud. I think someone will have some doubt like what these cows will do, what these dogs will do. Even the cows and dogs will be connected to each other in the future. Well, because a Dutch-based company, they are working on this connected cows use cases. A Dutch-based startup company, they're working on this connected cows. Like they want to monitor the cows, and why? Because the government is going to give the subsidy amount to buy the cows and produce the milk back to the government. And the people will, what the people will do is they will misuse it, and they will just pretend like they're already doing this. To avoid that false claimings, they are going to use some sensors and the tracking devices to check whether that cow is in the given vicinity of the area, in the owner area or not. That is the one thing. And as I said, like Dutch-based company, startup company, they have started working on connected cow solution for monitoring and collecting the health information of the cow. For example, if the cow is suffering from some illness or health issues, they are going to take that cow and they are going to separate it from the rest of the cows there, just to avoid the spreading the diseases. And also even they are going to check the pregnancy report of the cows. Okay, not only that, even they are working for monitoring the cows for producing the milk, how they can just make that cow to produce more milk for making use of these connected sensors with the cows. Even for dogs also, like just tail monitoring, or monitoring the tail of the dog to understand the behavior and to understand the health issues of the dog. They're going to use something like tail monitoring of the dog. Okay, oil distributions, even tracking, okay, trucks, for tracking the trucks, oil equipment monitoring and street wipers, aircrafts, electric charging stations. Okay, building automation, as I said, like even for building automation also, I think you might have heard about WeWork. It's again WeWork is what is it? The IT space providers where they can go and create their own space, and you can start working on that. And they are working on how they can monitor the effective way of utilizing the spaces there. Building optimization. They're going to use the technology called as a digital twin. I think you might have heard about this digital twin technology. I think even most of the robotic companies like Robot Bosch and all, they're going to work on this digital twin technology. Basically, digital twin is it's a virtual representation of the physical thing, which means that I can represent the whole building as a virtually and with a 3D manner, and I can see like where and all the sensors which is fixed. I can easily see the data in a real-time fashion. And even the Philips is also working on this digital twin concepts for health sector, health domain sector. Like they want to monitor the body, which feels like they're going to replicate the body as a virtually, and they're going to see like where and all the in which parts of the body they're suffering from illness or something like that. Okay, with that digital twin technology along with IoT, they're going to use this building optimization techniques. And also, as I said, IoT is not restricted to one domain. Even I just worked on the project called as monitoring the monitoring the construction field. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, okay. Sorry, I'm on mute. Yeah, yeah. Sorry. I just want. I'm on mute actually for a minute. Okay. As I said, even for building optimization and building monitoring, also they're going to use this technology. Even for construction field, they want to monitor the noise signal levels. Why? Because in the during the construction, this is US project. The according to the regulations, they should not cross the behind the limits, the noise levels, so that the traditional way of collecting the samples is they have to bring some rent based equipments, and they have to collect the samples, and for that they have to pay huge amount for that equipments. So that we come up with this IoT solution with noise level based sensors, where we have just deployed these sensors on the field, so that with that we are able to collect the data in a real time. And also we can just put the threshold in such a way that once it reaches the noise levels behind the limits, then the notification is going to be sent to the construction owner, so that with that they can even easily monitor and control the noise levels. Okay. And IoT solution have a common pattern, okay, which looks something like this. You can see, as I said, it's all about things. Okay, and after that once the devices generate the data, we are going to call it as a things here. Instead of devices, we are going to call it as a things, which capable of generating the data. With that, we are able to receive the insights on the cloud, and based on the insights we can take an action. For example, you can see I just want monitor a room and maintaining the temperature constantly. So that I just going to connect one temperature sensor along with some fan or AC, and based on the temperature data which is collected, I can just monitor the room accordingly. So that this temperature data is continuously sending it to the cloud, and based on the sensor pattern behavior, I can just put some threshold. For example, if the temperature reaches 25 degrees centigrade, then I'm going to turn on the fan or a AC, something like that. Like with that, this is the pattern which looks something like this, where the two components, that is the insights and actions, is available on the cloud side, and things is available on the device side, like where you deployed the devices on premises. And I can see the detail how things and actions and the insights are placed here. The things is going to start sending the data to the cloud, and based on that insights, whatever the data which is received, the service which comes with the actions which can take an action on the based on the data which is collected, and it can send again back to the things for controlling the things on the device side. And this communication is going to happen through the gateway. Okay, the gateway is responsible for authenticating and authorizing the request which is coming from the devices. Okay, billions of devices are coming online. You can see we are already able to see like there are billions of devices which is already connected, and even for next 2 years it's going to be more actually. And these devices which can categorize into the different sectors. The first one you can see like the connected vehicles on the road, and wearable devices which can send the data, and connected homes. Like there are like 500 to 700 millions of devices which can be used, the data which is gathered from the connected homes, and connected things within the cities, like smart city kind of use cases, where like almost 10 billion devices is going to be connected. And with this, you can see like IoT will impact many areas of their business in the next 3 years. Like you can see whatever I just explained about the use cases and the advantages of going with this technology. And with that, we'll be getting some benefits. The one thing is enables us to enhance our products and services. Enable us products and services. You can see like best example ThyssenKrupp and Rolls-Royce. With that, since each and every device is connected and we are getting the real-time data, and with that we can enhance our product and services with huge savings, like $250,000 per plane per year for reducing only 1% of fuel consumption. Since each and every devices are online, which means that in a real time way of monitoring these devices, which can see like we can enhance our products and services here. And also increase the level of engagement with our solutions. As I said, each and every device is connected. We can go with the increase the level of engagement with our solutions. Each and every data is each and every solutions which is connected to the cloud, and at every time in the 24/7 we can able to receive and take an action accordingly. So that with that we can enhance the services, and also we can increase the level of engagement here. Improve our supply chain. This is also very important. Why? Because from manufacturing device to the distributors and getting into the end users, how this can be taken in terms of supply chain management. The best example is Amazon, what Amazon is doing here. Like once you order something and there is no man intervention, everything is going to be taken care by the robots and the software there, software services. And allows us to develop the new revenue systems. You can see with the huge savings, we can go and start working on the new business systems here, new revenue systems. Empower the employees. That is also very important. Like even with some tools and services with IoT, then even you can give the effective way of delivering the work from the employees. As I said, the best example is digital twin. They are going to even make use of this digital twin technology to deliver the effective way of work from the employees in the organization. You can see like what are the different sectors where you can see IoT here. As I said, IoT is available in the different domains like smart cities, smart environment, retail sectors, logistics, industrial control. Even if you see the everyday things, even your shoes also is going to generate some data, like how many steps you walked and some information about your body and all health parameters. And security and surveillance camera, I think in the future, like most of the cameras is going to be edge cameras, like smart cameras, where it is going to check the patterns of the public behavior and uh, uh, working on the object detections. Like it's going to be used even in the highways and the roadways for tracking the vehicles, like checking the density of the traffic and understanding the behavior of the traffic there, and based on that it can be even connected to the signals, and in which path the density is more, then I can just make the signal on for longer time. Okay, building management, that is also very important for water distribution monitoring. You can just see like based on the prediction of the water distributed for quarter year, I can just check the availability of the water for the next quarter years, next quarter or next season, something like that. This is something about the smart city applications. You can see what all the business cases we can build in the smart city applications. There are like hundreds of services here. Are you able to see this? You can see like the radiation levels, smartphone detections, electromagnetic levels, traffic congestion, smart roads, smart lighting, noise urban maps, water leakages, vehicle auto diagnostics, waste management, that is also very important. Air pollutions, and also like traffic congestion, like monitoring of the vehicle and prediction of uh, influence of optimizing the driving and walking roads. Intelligent shopping, this is also very important, getting the advice in the point of sale according to the customer habits, preferences, presence of uh, the components for them or expiring dates, something like that. And some more use cases, again, which is related to the like different domains, smart street light monitoring, smart parking. Even with the smart parking also, we can even go with this technology, like we can even book the parking slots whenever you're just going to visit some density, uh, density or traffic congestion is more or density population area. And if you want to go with a like drive, or if you want to just book a parking slot, you can use the IoT solutions remotely. You can just book the parking slot. Construction equipment monitoring, as I said, even we can use this technology even for construction field also, for monitoring and tracking the equipments. Okay. IoT reference model, you can see this is the reference model for Internet of Things. It comes with a different layer architecture, from physical layer to the collaboration and process. Okay, the first comes is the physical device and controls. Okay, where you can see like the physical layer, it's nothing but device layer, where you can see like various devices, sensors, and edge devices which capable of collecting and processing the data. It's also called as a things. Like we are going to call it as Internet of Things. The things come into picture in the device layer, which includes sensors, devices, even the camera devices also. And next layer is a connectivity layer. That is, it gives the communication access from device to the cloud. And this connectivity again comes with many wireless communication technologies or wired technologies, which can give us the access to the connection between the device layer to the cloud layer. And edge computing, this is very important. This comes with edge computing, means how we can just control the devices and do the data element analysis and transformation from device layer to the cloud layer. Like edge computing is the one where some services of the cloud will be deployed on the edge. I will explain in detail about this in the next coming slide, but mainly that edge computing is used for giving the near real-time responses to the devices. Like for example, during the internet connectivity, the internet goes off, then how we are going to establish the connection to the cloud? We are going to lose some messages, communication from device layer to the cloud layer. With this edge computing, some services of the cloud will be deployed on the edge, so that we can have that access to the devices even in the during the internet is down. internet connectivity is down. Data accumulation. This is used for storing the data from devices. There are two different ways to route the data from device layer to the cloud layer. One is data which is collected from the sensors and the devices, which is directly send it to the storage services. That is a data accumulation layer. And where this storage database which is going to be used for storing the data. And one more thing is, there is one more channel which can directly connect to the dashboards. Just to see, like, for example, whatever the data which is pushed from the device side, I need to check this, the availability in the cloud side, like viewing the real-time data from the devices. We can establish this channel directly to the dashboards, where we can just represent this data in terms of the widgets with the gauges, digital gauges, analog gauges, or else we can represent with the graph, or just to represent like historical data. I just want to understand what is the maximum value of the temperature, what is the minimum value of the temperature from last 24 hours. You'll be having access to all the configuration in the cloud side. Okay, even I will be covering this as a part of a hands-on session. Okay, the data abstraction layer, where which is used for collecting the data and aggregating and access the data on the cloud side, like representing the data based on the requirement here. And applications, application is again reporting, analysis, and control. Like once the data is arrived, I just want to represent the data in a different form based on the type of the data. For example, if it is a sensor data, I can make use of the sensor data to represent something like what you can see with the different colors here, gauges. Or else I can just go and represent with a graph to represent like historical data, like from based on the frequency, based on the timeline from last 12 hours, what is the data which is collected. Like all this can be happening in the application layer. Okay, and collaboration and process. This is again the involving people and the business process, and also connecting to the third-party applications. Like if you want to connect with the third-party applications, and if you want to share the data which is collected on the cloud to the other services, we can make use of this the top layer, and also even we can work on the business process here. This is just a reference model. As I said, like still the IoT is not yet standardized in terms of the layer architecture. The different cloud providers, they are working on their own cloud technologies, the cloud layer architecture. And this is one more understanding in terms of connectivity. There are different ways to connect the devices from device layer to the cloud layer. And some of way of connecting this device layer to the cloud layer, I just mentioned something like this, which involves different ways to establish the connection. One is as a standalone. You can see in the right side where there is a one device which is directly connected to the cloud. That is IoT backend. But there is in the left hand side, you can see the connection is going to happen through IoT gateway. This is very important, needs to be understood whenever you're going to implement IoT use cases. For example, you got a requirement from the customer, where that customer infrastructure is very old, something like it doesn't support IoT standards. Are you able to understand this? Which means that the customer, for example, if I want to implement any IoT solution, and if they for a required use cases for the customers or clients, and if it doesn't support that IoT standard for implementing the scenario, but because the infrastructure, whatever they build, it's very old. So that in that case, what I can do is I can make use of the IoT gateways. IoT gateways is the devices or the processing devices which can be used for connecting these legacy technology devices, legacy infrastructure devices, and which can collect the data and which can send it to the cloud based on the standard protocols. I can say it can act like a intermediate device which can be, collect the information from the legacy devices where the legacy device doesn't have that capabilities. Okay, that is the use of IoT gateway, and also the IoT gateway can be categorized into the again three layers, three types. One is I can make use of the device, the gateway device, that is IoT gateway device for connecting to the legacy devices, and also it can be also be used for protocol translators. Protocol translators means if you just imagine, I just want to connect 1,000 devices to the cloud. When it comes to the privacy and the security of the devices, the main challenge is how we are going to provide the security to each and every devices here. Like all 1,000 devices is going to expose their IP address to the internet. I think that is the not best practice in IoT. Like instead of going with 1,000 devices, with each and every devices is connecting to the internet and exposing their IP addresses to the public network, that is not the best practice. There is a chance of hacking these channels, and they can do the data spoofing. To avoid that, we can make use of the IoT gateway. Usually what happens, this IoT gateway can act like a protocol translator or I can say like edge device, which can connect all these 1,000 devices and which can collect the data and pre-process it, and it can send in one channel. So that instead of exposing all 1,000 IP address, I can expose one IP address from gateway. And these gateway devices comes with a more secure way of communicating from device layer to the cloud layer. Hence, I can make use of the gateway, one more options for connecting the devices instead of for to avoid the connecting for all 1,000 devices. I can make use of the gateway, where this gateway is taken care of giving the security layer for each and every devices which is connected to gateway. And also we can make I think best example I can give is we are going to use Raspberry Pi here. In the upcoming sessions, I'm going to teach Raspberry Pi. I think we can make use of the Raspberry Pi as a gateway, where it has all the capabilities to act like a gateway device. And also one more advantage is we can make use of the gateway as an edge device. Edge device means, as I said in the previous slide, edge computing. We can just make the device as an edge computing device, where some part of the cloud services is going to be deployed on the edge to give the near real-time responses to the devices during the intermittent connectivity. Which means that during the network is down, that connectivity is down, even in that scenario also, device can respond, the gateway can respond the request which is coming from the end devices. You can see the differences between the direct cloud connectivity and connectivity through IoT edge. The advantages of going with the cloud connectivity is remotely we can monitor and manage, do the management of all the sensors which is connected with a different location. You can see remote monitoring and management, merging the remote data from multiple IoT devices. And also the cloud supports infinite computing and storage, and which can be used for understanding the patterns with the machine learning and advanced AI tools to check the anomalies also, anomaly detection. And IoT on the edge, you can make use of like low latency tight control loops, which requires near real-time responses. In that scenario, we can make use of this edge technology. and protocol translation and data normalization, which can be, as I said, like some devices, legacy devices doesn't support IoT standards. In that case, we can make use of these edge devices or gateway devices, which can convert the legacy format of data collection to the standard IoT communication protocols. And privacy of data and protection of IP, that is the best example I given. Instead of connecting 1,000 devices to the cloud, we can connect through the edge device, where you can just abide the uh, exposing that IP address to the internet public network. Some terms we need to understand about the cloud connectivity. Like one is cloud. It's a globally available ultimate computing resources, and also it is a scalable solution. It's a managed services. It can scalable solution, and it's a unlimited compute resources. Why? Because there are three way of giving the services from the cloud perspective. One is infrastructure as a service, software as a service, and platform as a service. With this, based on your requirement or based on your business cases, we can make use of these three services here. Infrastructure as a cloud providers like AWS or Azure, they are going to give the access to the infrastructures. Like if you want to build your own applications and if you want to deploy your own application, you can just go and make use of the infrastructure of the cloud providers, and you can just deploy your application and you can start working on that. And even they are going to provide the scalability and load balancing, automatic load balancing. For example, today we are going to connect with 10,000 devices, and tomorrow you are going to connect with 50,000 requests. Then all these features will be available in the cloud providers. They are going to have scalability solutions, managed services, which can handle from one devices to millions of devices here. That is the one thing. That is the different services, infrastructure and platform as a software as a service. And when it comes to the IoT, like harnessing the signals from the sensors and devices managed centrally by the cloud. From the cloud point of view, this IoT is going to be used for collecting all the sensor data which is coming from the different location, and segregating it and managing this everything on the central servers on the cloud. And edge devices, something like some intelligence is uploaded from cloud to the IoT devices. As I said, some services is going to be deployed on the edge to give the near real-time responses to the end devices. And breakthrough the AI is also very important. As I said, IoT is not restricted to for connecting the devices from device layer to the cloud layer. It's a behind that, where the multiple technologies are interlinked with the IoT, which may be a machine learning, deep learning, or AI. What actually it's do is it's baked through the intelligence capabilities in the cloud and the edge, like by understanding the patterns, sensor patterns, and the data patterns which is collected from the devices. We can make use of this AI algorithms to check the behavior and the pattern behavior of the sensors which is collected from the devices. Do you have any questions till now? Please let me know. If I'm fast, please let me know that also. I can make it slow. And if you are not able to understand any concepts, just post the questions in the chat window. Since this class is going to be like totally theoretical session, that's why just have a concern. If you have any concern, please let me know. Any questions so far? Okay. And IoT is an inflection point. Like you can see day by day, when it comes to the IoT technology, there are a lot of technologies which is involved with IoT. For example, if you go with machine learning, where you can see if for machine learning use cases, if you have enough amount of data, you can just go and execute the machine learning based use cases. The same thing for AI also. The same thing for data analytics also. But when it comes to the IoT is now it's a different scenario here. Why? Because there are different the vertical technologies is involved in one technology. Like for example, I can say the device technology here, where you should understand the device patterns, and you should know like how the devices is going to be behave, and what are the parameters needs to be considered from monitoring the device from the device layer to the cloud layer. Why? Because when it comes to the device data collection, it doesn't mean that we are going to collect only the data here. Even we are going to spend a lot of information sharing between the cloud to the device for monitoring the device health, which means the device health monitoring. Why? Because we should understand whether the device is up and running or not, and what is the device status, and what is the current condition of the device. For example, if the device requires some firmware updates, I need to even do the monitoring remotely. Okay, what I mean to say is we need to consider all these parameters when it comes to the device layer. And even if you see like day by day, the hardware equipments are getting cheap. What I mean to say is I have one device. I'm going to show it in the next session, where there is the device cost is only $2. It's a $2 device which can be used for connecting directly to the cloud. And this device is a programmable device. It's a programmable device, and it has a capability to connect one or two sensors, and it's a battery powered, which consumes only less power, that is 3.3 volts. And if you just connect the sensor, and you can power up this device, and you can just throw it anywhere wherever that Wi-Fi is available. Device can collect the data and it can send it to the cloud, and it's a standalone device. It doesn't require any other external component. What I mean to say is day by day the hardware is getting cheaper, and also in terms of the manufacturing process and the security. Even the Microsoft has released Azure Sphere. It's a device which comes with the on-chip security. They're going to provide the security as an on-chip, because that is big challenge in terms of connectivity for the devices here. I'm talking about 50 billion devices. Then how we are going to provide the security to each and every device? Okay. Even the manufacturing industries, they are working very hard in terms of giving the security for IoT use cases. Like M2M solutions are mainstreams here. There is a machine-to-machine communications. They're going to even uh, uh, have the better infrastructure in terms of communicating the devices, and getting some insights from each and every devices for with the cloud. And connectivity, even for connectivity also, we can see like there are a lot of new technologies arrived, like along with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. I think you might have already seen like NB-IoT, narrowband IoT technology. This is nothing but GPRS and GSM based communication technologies. This NB-IoT, which uses an unused bandwidth of mobile technology, mobile communication technology, like 3G or 4G or 5G. Like we can say the band is God band. It's nothing but there is a two separation bands. There is a God band. Okay, with that, we can make use of this NB-IoT bands. Why? Because this can be used for communicating with the IoT devices, for energy meters and smart meters, smart water meters use cases. And software is more advanced. We can see the cloud services or software related services, it's getting more advanced day by day in terms of monitoring and controlling the devices and collecting the data from each and every devices. And also the cloud cost and scale and flexibility. You can see like any cloud platform, it will be available for free. Most of the cloud platforms are available for free of cost for a given limited time. So that is more than enough to just to understand the behavior and understand the technologies here. And also there are a lot of flexibilities in terms of connecting these services. It's something like plug and play kind of thing. Everything is just a configurable. There is no coding involved in that. If you understand the parameters there and if you understand like the configuration, that is more than enough. You can start working with the cloud platforms or cloud services. General technical requirements, you can see there are many devices is going to be coming to picture, and we should be aware like how to handle these devices. That is very important. And all these devices are at large scale, and we should aware of like what are the how we can just make use of cloud services. You can see like most of the cloud services are managed services which can handle one devices to 1 billion devices. And security requirements, as I said, these devices are comes with the on-chip security. And even if you take AWS or Azure, they are going to provide the transport layer security for device connectivity. Whenever you create a device, they're going to provide the certificates, device certificates. So that with these device certificates, we can establish the more secured channel from device layer to the cloud layer. And volumes of data. Like there are going to be a huge volumes of data. Why? Because if you see like how much devices are connected, and you just imagine how much data is going to be generated. Okay, and end-to-end integration. As I said, everything is going to be a kind of plug and play concept here. If you understand the behavior of the devices and if you understand the services of the cloud, you can start connecting from end to end. And some information exchange parameters needs to be understand from cloud perspective, from communication between the cloud and the device side. One is telemetry. Yeah, telemetry means it's a sensor device which is going to be collected from device layer to the cloud layer. We are going to call it as a telemetry data. Tele means it's a far, and metry means it's a small piece of data, which says something like information flowing from device to other systems for conveying the status of the device and the environment. Enquiries, which tells something like request from the device looking to gather required information or to initiate the activities. For example, assume that device needs some updates, or device to check the firmware updates if it is available, so that it's keep on requesting to the servers for getting the activities. Commands, something like commands from other systems to the devices or a group of devices to perform specific activities. It maybe include some the unique activities which is going to be carried by the one device or n number of devices, like getting the status of the device and getting the IP address of the device. And all these commands can be exchanged from device to the cloud or from cloud layer to the devices. Notifications, something like information flowing from other system to the devices for conveying the status changes. This is also called as a shadow information. In the AWS cloud, we are going to call it as a shadow information, just to check the status of the devices here. And the IoT principles or challenges, I can say, and which is just categorized into these things. Like the main challenges we are going to place is the addressing, like how we are going to address these devices and uh, make it connected to the cloud. Like there are some architecture, or there are some communication protocols which can be used for establishing this addressing of the devices. One of this is publish and subscribe architecture. I think this is not the right time to discuss this. Why? Because just for your information, I will be giving this. In the coming classes, we are going to understand each and every component. Just for information, I will be giving like uh, what are the different components we are going to carry it out for addressing, scaling, and connectivity. And when it comes to the scale, we are going to use the cloud services for scaling up the requirement or the applications, whatever we build. And connectivity, we are going to have a lot of services which provides the queues to the cloud to just give the connectivity and make all the devices are shared among the devices and the cloud. Sorry, all the data which is shared among the device layer to the cloud layer. Data volume, as I said, this data volume can be, again, we can make use of the cloud storage services which can handle the huge amount of data, and there is no restrictions in terms of like storing the data. For example, today you are going to store like uh, 500 terabytes of data, and tomorrow you want to store something like zettabytes of data. These cloud providers, as their managed services, it provides the load balancing, and also it supports scalability. And device size, that is also very important. Like uh, the size of, when it comes to the IoT applications, the size of the device should be as less as possible, and also it is smart enough. The device should has a capability to uh, communicate in an efficient way. So that is smarter way. To achieve that, we can even go with some why? Because along with the smarter devices, the communication protocols, data communication protocols also plays an important role. And in that category, there are two protocols are available, like AMQP and MQTT, Advanced Message Queuing Protocol, and Message Queuing Telemetry Transport. Okay, these are the different layers which comes under IoT. What is it? The requirements and the first principles and the challenges, where we come across the different components in terms of connecting and managing and monitoring these services. And these are the different the layer with respect to the different layer. These are the different service providers for providing the device manufacturing services. Like when it comes to the chip modules, we can see there are many chip manufacturing industries. They're working on this chip manufacturing for IoT use cases, device machines, connectivities for giving the network connectivity, and service enablement. Like these are some service providers which provides the services like small size M2M communication, specialized software vendors, and followed by business solutions like some IBM, Cisco, which provides the few large SLAs and long tall small local and M2M specialized system integration. Okay, that's about the introduction part. I will just walk through the IoT applications. Before that, if you have any questions, please let me know. Do you have any questions? For? Okay. One more thing is whenever you start prototyping, these are the points needs to be considered. First, we need to understand the problem here, like who are the users and what are the needs and what is the context and competitors, and formulate the strategy. And diverge, like gets something about the ideate the solution, like what are the problem and how we can just ideate this, and from this choose the best services here, choose the best idea and start board the idea. And next thing is prototyping, like build some quick and smart enough of doing executing the use cases, which can focus on the usability and not making it beautiful, just for prototyping, and you can just start working on that, developing the use cases. Later on, you can just validate, show the prototype to the real users outside the organization, and learn what doesn't work. Because if you talk about Internet of Things, I think even if you take most of the companies, they are new to this technology. Even they are going to do something like trial and error basis in terms of understanding the concepts, understanding the behavior, and checking like how this implementation with IoT technology will helps in their requirements. Okay. So that's about the introduction session. Now I will just move to the IoT applications. Okay, now I'm just getting into this IoT applications. Are you able to see my screen?
Still seeing the same screen.
Okay, 1 minute.
There we go.
Yep. Thank you. Okay, now let's getting into the IoT applications. Like what are the different, I'm just mentioned some few domains where we can make use of this technology, but this is not restricted to that. It's again, there are huge number of use cases which can be developed in different domains. Let's discuss one by one. Okay, this is overall view of like what are the different in different domains and what are the use cases we can build. One is you can see like communication. What actually it says 7 connected devices per person. By 2020, each person will own on average of 7 connected devices. We already have some 7 connected devices around us. The best example is your mobile phone. Your mobile phone has already have some 5 to 6 sensors on board. If you consider like magnetometer, accelerometer, proximity sensors, okay, there are like 5 to 6 sensors which is already available, and it's generating enormous amount of data. But the only thing is it is not collected, and it is not monitored. But in the future, even your mobile phones, the different components of the mobile phones is going to be collected and monitored to give the better performance of the mobile phone. And next thing is 71% of the shoppers are multi-channel based on the respondents planning their 2011 holiday shopping. This is world post, and which means that they are going to based on the available data which is gathered historically. and they can just do the planning for shopping. And like 23.6 million connected cars. Like there are more connected cars in the coming days, and it is raising like anything. The presently, I think people are working on the autonomous cars and connected cars to give the better features for the vehicles. And something, the prediction says there are like 100 to 200 terabytes of data is going to be generated from the car for 1 quarter, which means that one car can generate minimum 50 to 100 terabytes per month basis. You just imagine what kind of use cases they are going to build on the connected cars. And annual growth rate projection increases in the connected machines to machine devices over the next 5 years. The 30% of the annual growth for connected machines. Okay, let's go one by one. The first one is connected retail stores. Okay, I think as I said, like for car showroom, even for the connected shopping stores in the future, they're going to use this connected retail store use cases, IoT connected retail stores, which tells something like 56% of the smartphone users plan to use their devices while shopping. And 85% of the shopper prefer personalized offers reflecting their past shopping behavior. And most of the like 50% of the would like to use the digital touchscreens in the stores. And 61% would visit to their more shopping in the stores with beacons marketing campaigns. As I said, beacons. There's a BLE devices. Like this beacon devices is going to tell about the push notification is going to be sent to the people who is walk around the particular zone of that or particular departments there. Like you can see here, there is a rich interactive display here, rich interactive experience. It's nothing but it's actually like a virtual display. Whenever you stand in front of the virtual display, and if you give some parameters with respect to your body size, something like that, and it's going to give the available dress materials in the stores, so that which can suit to your body structure, which is already available in some smart retail stores. Using augmented reality and IoT, they are going to give this features so that you can even feel like wearing the dresses there. Whenever you choose some particular dress materials, it looks something like you are wearing that dress. So with that, we can easily shop in a better way. Okay, and this is one thing, and you can see the beacon based marketing. That is a 600% new users and 400% more items fit in the app. Using that beacon devices, it can be easily tracked, like whenever you just walk through the shopping stores, this beacon devices is going to be used even to count the number of customers. There's one more example which is related to the beacons. You can see enhance the customer experience. Beacons delivers the personalized information. There is a push notification to the customers. Sorry. A push notification to the customers as they browse their increase the sales and creates the loyal customers here. Which means that beacons and GPS catch points area triggers the personalized push notification to the passengers by driving engaged customers to the stores. Like whenever you walk through that particular department, you'll be getting some push notification. As I said, like based on the previous visit, now it is running out with an offer. If you're interested, you can just go and buy something like that. I think best example is you might have seen that Amazon Go video. The Amazon has come up with IoT and AR VR technologies with artificial intelligence algorithms. Where there is a whole shop retail store is fitted with the cameras, AI cameras, and there is no man intervention in between. Just go get the things and come out. Your mobile will take care of everything. You can just watch that video, Amazon Go. Okay, it's again it's the concept of smart retail stores. Okay, this is even Vodafone is also working on this connected retail store applications. Okay, these are the patterns, or I can say like understanding the customer patterns, customer behaviors, customer data which is collected. All the information is going to be gathered from the retail stores. And customer journey plan, a client value methodology, and value drivers like content management, software, hardware, data analytics, customer self-service, sales assistant supports, and even we can just even connect to the suppliers here. That is a material suppliers to the retail stores, so that if the things which is out of the stock, directly the notification will be sent to the manufacturing unit. Again, it is going to build a supply chain management from end user to the manufacturing unit here. Okay, Industrial 4.0, this is also play a big role in terms of manufacturing units, where you can see the many companies started working on, manufacturing industries started working on this, how we can just give the effective way of doing manufacturing for production of the things, and also how to monitor the machineries. You can see the history of the industrial different versions like 1, 2, 3, and 4. In the 4, you can see like there are a lot of technologies involved, like cyber physical systems, internet of things, networking, and big data analytics, and smart manufacturing. One such example is, you can see this is one of the example. I think beginning of the introduction classes, I just explained about the machine, a big machine which is operating. Production of the machine is 100 to 200 units per minute basis. Then how we are going to track that machine to avoid the failure of the machine. I think you can see this is the slide. You can just go through one by one. The first one is monitor the production flow in the near real time to eliminate the waste and unnecessary work in the process inventory. In the most of the industries, you can see we are facing in terms of unnecessary, the work has been taken carried out by the each and every machineries for production, so that this can be eliminated by monitoring the production flow in a near real time and eliminate the waste and unnecessary work in the process inventory. That is one thing. And also the next thing you can see, manage equipments remotely and using temperature limits and other settings to conserve the energy and reduce the cost. This is also very important. The same example I just given, just to monitor the parameters of the machine to avoid the failure. Here they are just mentioned in a different way, like manage the equipment remotely using temperature limits and other settings to conserve the energy and reduce the cost. And one more use case is implement the condition-based maintenance and alerts to eliminate the machine downtime and increase the throughput. This is also very important. Condition-based maintenance, alerts to eliminate the machine downtime and increase the throughput. Like based on the machine parameters which is collected, and also the based on the conditions what needs to be delivered, I can just put all these parameters together so that this machine can easily interact with remotely with the cloud services or edge services, which can act accordingly based on the requirement. And one more thing is aggregate the product data and customer sentiment analysis and third-party syndicate data to indicate the correct quality issues. This is also very important. If you just imagine, if you go and use the Amazon, and where the customer is going to give the feedbacks, and this is not reaching to the production industries, this is not reaching to the manufacturing unit, just customer review is just for the people. If the new customer is going to buy the products and they are going to see the reviews. But what if these customer feedback is going to be shared to the manufacturing unit? This can be done with this infrastructure, IoT infrastructure. It can say like aggregate the product data, customer sentiment. Even it is going to take the customer sentiment and other third-party syndicate data to identify the correct quality issues. Okay, that is one of the use cases. And when it comes to the customer side, even from the customers also, you can see like transport the operational information to the customer partners, that is OEMs, and to field services engineering to remote process and automate the optimization. Like once the service is delivered, the customer service is very important. Like you can even monitor these services remotely. No need to visit, no need to send a resource person to check what are the condition or status of the machines. And even third-party logistics. Even it provides the cross-channel visibility to into the inventories to optimize the supply and reduce the shared cost in the value chain. When it comes to the distributions and when it comes to the supply chain, okay, even it's going to be collect all the information about the stock availability and uh, the daily ongoing transactions. Okay, all the information is going to be shared to the production industries. And then later you can see the global operations. When it comes to the management perspective, they can see the production line and status, recommended adjustments to better manage and operational cost. With all the data which is collected from the different points and different manufacturing units and supply chain and all, they are going to get all the information about the production industries. With that, they can check the status and also recommends to adjustments to and recommend adjustments to better manage operational cost. And also when it comes to the R&D also, like they gain the insights into the usage patterns from the multiple customers and track equipment iterations and with enabling the re-engineering the products for better performance. Okay, with the collecting all the information from the different endpoints along with the customer feedback, they are going to even perform the research and development, like where and all we can re-engineer the products and for better performance. Even in the field services also, like the user can even the service providers or user can get to know like when to deploy the right resources for productivity maintenance and minimize the equipment failure and reduce the service cost. You can see like there are like hundreds of use cases are available in one slide here. With one slide there we can build hundreds IoT use cases. Okay. I think we have 5 minutes more. But before getting into this, then to the next topic, I just want to provide the access to the folders. Okay, if you can post your mail IDs, I can give the access to the folders. Please post your mail IDs in the chat window. Even for smart city applications also, like we can see like there are a lot of use cases we can build in the smart city applications, like traffic management, education, air pollution, and electromagnetic emissions, even smart energy, water quality monitoring, waste management. There are many use cases we can build in the smart city applications. Okay, before that, I'm going to provide the access to the folders. Okay, and also after that, if I get time, I will go and continue with this. I think the same thing I shown, right? The chart window. There is a smart city applications. Okay. Before that, I will start giving the access for files. Can you please post your email IDs? Yes, your email address. Please post your email address. Okay, I'm just providing your email the access. And one more person, can you please give me your email address? I think total 4, right? He left, it seems. Okay. Yeah, just please check your links. I just shared the links. Please check your mail and check whether you're able to access the folders or not.
Yeah, all good. I can access.
Okay. What about others? Can you please confirm? Could you please confirm? Just want to recheck if you are not able to access. That's why I'm just waiting for your reply. Okay. I think everyone is able to access the resources. What is that? The files and folders. Just go through that the each and every sessions whatever I'm going to cover. It's all about the reference documents, and also you'll be having the video recordings. It will be shared soon, so that even you can make use of this video recordings for your reference. Okay, these are all the introduction documents which can be used to for your reference, and also some case studies, IoT use cases, some IoT articles and case studies. Okay, please share your mail address. I think you shared the mail address, right? I think I just added your mail ID. Just recheck your mail. I think you'll be getting an access. Okay, this is related to the documents for the case studies and introduction to IoT. I think this is just for your reference, and even you'll be having all the access which is related to the hands-ons and programs. Okay, can just please check it. These are for upcoming sessions. We are going to make use of these examples to demonstrate the use cases. Okay, that's about today's sessions. If you have any questions, please let me know. I can just clarify your doubts. And in the next session, I will continue with this IoT application, and I will getting into the introduction to device platforms.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining.
Thanks.
Sorry, I sent a second time my other email address because the other, I think, is not really working.
Yeah. I'm just doing that. I'm sharing.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. 1 minute. Just I'm just adding your mail ID.
Yes.
Just please check it.